Hey guys, it's Jaylin. Welcome or welcome back. I'm here today to do a different video than I think I've ever done on my channel. I have been thinking about my Pan That palette for 2024. So I want to walk through some of the palettes that I have pulled aside, and I actually want you guys to help me pick which palette I should pan. Now you may guess what theme I'm going for here. I'm not going to talk about it because it's kind of something I can't share until the beginning of the year. If you know, you know. But I thought that I would kind of walk through some of the palettes that I have picked out. I also pulled some contenders for Baby Pan That palette because I am very, very close to, I'm pretty close to finishing the Wet n Wild palette that I'm working on now, which is my Baby Pan That palette. And I'll probably start a new palette at the beginning of the year. So we're going to go through both options, and I'm going to have you guys pick which one I should which ones I should pan for both categories. Okay, so I'm going to go in order of the amount of product in the palette. So some of these that I'm going to talk about first, which are going to be for my main Pan That palette, could be also used in the Baby Pan That palette theme. I'm kind of trying to stay below 5 grams for my Baby Pan That palette. So like the first two I'm going to show you could qualify for a Baby Pan That palette or Pan That palette. Okay, I'm going to stop saying Pan That palette. The first one I have is this little 6-pan palette by Pat McGrath Labs. This is the mini eyeshadow palette in the colorway Midnight Voyage. And this has a total of 3 grams, so not a ton of product. Here's what this beautiful thing looks like. So yeah, there are, 2 mattes and 4 shimmers. I will go ahead and swatch these since there aren't too many we're going to go through today. All right, there we go. There's that color story. Of course, it has my purples. This is kind of the great thing about this palette is because it's got a couple of purples, which are my jam. And then these 4 could easily be used together in like one quick look. So yeah, there is the Midnight Voyage palette. Now, as I mentioned, this one can also be a contender for Baby Pan That palette. This is the NARS Unwrapped Mini Eyeshadow Palette in Orgasm. So here's this beautiful packaging, and the palette looks like this. Let me see if I can make it focus properly. Wait, let me see. There we go. How about that? So there's that color story. Super cute. I haven't heard the best about the quality of this, but I'm sure it would be something I could find a way to make work. So this has a total of 4.2 grams. So still under the 5 gram requirement for my Baby Pan That palette. So let me swatch this one. I'll actually swatch it underneath the one from Pat McGrath. Now this one looks like it also has, hold on. Maybe it's got 1 matte and the rest are shimmers. All right, there is the NARS palette compared to the Pat McGrath one. Now this one has 1 matte, which is this shade right here. Now I am going to also do a Better Together palette, so I will pick something that probably has more mattes to kind of go with if I pick one of these it's mostly shimmers. I'll make sure to pick a Better Together that has additional matte shades to work with. All right, so those are the first 2. Again, those are contenders for Baby Pan That palette. Now, moving from here on up, these are a little bit too large for Baby Pan That palette. They're still small, but the first one I have is the Natasha Denona Mini Love palette. This one is so pretty, has 5 shades, and the total weight of this one is, this is 4 grams, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, this has 4 grams. So this would also be a contender. I was thinking it had 5. All right, so there is the Mini Love palette. And again, this could also be a Baby Pan That palette. Look at how gorgeous the shade is. All right, so option number 3. This is so pretty. I feel like that's right? 5 times 0.8 is 4 grams. Okay, this is when we start to get into a little bit of a too high territory for Baby Pan That palette. This is a Charlotte Tilbury quad. This is in Mesmerizing Maroon. So here is this quad, and there are 3 shimmers and 1 matte. This has a total of 5 grams. So there is the quad. It's gorgeous. So those are the 2. They're very similar. Similar in terms of the color story. So that's the Charlotte Tilbury quad in Mesmerizing Maroon. Okay, next up I have the Charlotte Tilbury 6-pan palette. This is the Smoky Eye palette. Now I did work on hitting pan in this in my Pan in Every palette project. So it's kind of a bit warmer than I would like to go, but it's a good contender. This has a total of 5.4 grams. So I will swatch this one for you. All right, so there's the Charlotte Tilbury 6-pan palette, Easy Smoky Eye palette. I remember, I think Jessica Braun was the one who talked about this and how amazing it was, and that's why I bought it. The next 2 are ColourPop quads. Now these have a total of 5.9 grams. Yeah, 5.9 grams. I have 2 options here. They're very similar, but one is called Sorbet. I want to say these are probably full-size pans. And these are both really pretty. So there's Sorbet. Gorgeous. And then I have Extra Toppings. And there's extra toppings there. So you can see the 2 quads. Beautiful. All right, and the last 2 palettes are actually Too Faced palettes, which I'm probably a little crazy even thinking about bringing these in because they are way more difficult to finish the eyeshadows. They're hard pressed, etc., etc. But these are both, well within the theme, and they're cute. I have the Too Faced Tickled Peach palette. And here is this gorgeous one. So I will swatch it. It looks like we have 3 mattes and 5 shimmers. All right, there is the Tickled Peach palette. Look at how beautiful that is. And the last one I have is also Too Faced, and it's the Let's Play palette. Wow. And here is this beauty. Again, these both have the same amount of shadow. I don't even know if I told you guys what the total amount is. So it's a total of 6.7 grams in each palette. So still less than what is in the ABH Norvina, which has about 10, I want to say. Now this one has 4 mattes and 4 shimmers. So this one's a matte, this one, and this one. So it's a bit more evenly distributed than the Tickled Peach palette, which has 2 and 6. So here is this color story. Beautiful. So I could easily do something like the Tickled Peach. And maybe if I decide to do if I decide to do this one as my baby pan, that palette, these 2 together would work. Or these 2 together. Or these 2 together. Options, lots of options. All right, 3 other baby pan that palette options. So the first one I have is the Charlotte Tilbury Quad in Pillow Talk. Now I have worked on this in another project before, and so I do have 1 shadow finished and pan in this one. I'm close to hitting pan in the shimmer. I remember thinking this palette was okay, the shimmers in here, they're okay. They're actually not that great. I say they're okay and they're not that great. There's something exciting about them. So let me swatch the 3 shadows that are left in here. There we go. You can see these 2 are just kind of meh. But, you know, there's ways to make it work. And, you know, I'd like to eventually get this palette out of my collection. So that's the, what, 1, 2, 3, fourth option for Baby Pan That palette. I also have this cute little ZC Kitty Cat quad. I don't know. I can't remember what they call it. But here is this one. And I have no idea how much shadow is in here because it's not in English. So there is that quad. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's cute. It's a cute little quad. And the last one I have is by e.l.f. This is the Bite Size eyeshadow palette in Rosewater. And did I look to see how much is in here? 3.5 grams total. So less than what was in the Maybelline quad that I'm working on right now. I've heard such great things about these quads. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 shades in the quad. Ow. So those are the palettes that I have pulled out for Baby Pan That palette and Pan That palette. So if you would like to kind of vote on what I should pan for next year, let me know which of the ones I talked about for Pan That palette you vote for, and then which of the Baby Pan That palette choices you want. So let me go through the options again. For Pan That palette, we have Pat McGrath Midnight Voyage. Here's this one. We have the NARS Mini Unwrapped Mini Eyeshadow Palette in Orgasm. This one. Natasha Denona Mini Love Palette. The Charlotte Tilbury Quad in Mesmerizing Maroon. 2 ColourPop quads. The first one is Sorbet. Then we have Extra Toppings. And then we have the Charlotte Tilbury Easy Smoky Eye Palette. And 2 Too Faced palettes. First is Tickled Peach. And then the second one is Let's Play. For Baby Pan That palette, options are, again, Midnight Voyage, Orgasm by NARS, Mini Love by Natasha Denona, the Charlotte Tilbury Quad in Pillow Talk that I already have usage on, the ZC Kitty Cat palette, which is this one, and lastly, the e.l.f. Bite-Sized Quad in Rosewater. Help me decide, guys. Which one should I pan? And which one should be my Baby Pan That palette? I cannot wait to see what you guys choose. Anyway, that is going to be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you are doing well and staying safe. Please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.